First, let's turn to page 2 of the prayer book. Page 2 of the prayer book. So before I start this, before we begin with the teaching, it is, say for example today, the teaching that is happening today, this is, of course, it is happening on a very auspicious day, Buddha's Parinirvana day, and at the same time, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he wants the actual teachings to happen in the various Buddha centers rather than pujas. So puja, of course, is very important. At the same time, His Holiness wants the centers to emphasize more on letting people grow to know the real message of the Buddha. So that is through the teachings. And if you know what exactly is the teachings of the Buddha, then the rituals, all things is very easy. It's not a problem. It's very easy. So therefore, it's very important for all of us to make it a point that the knowledge, what exactly is Buddha, and saying Buddha, in what way, what makes him so special, and in what way he was different from when he was a young prince to after his enlightenment, age 39, age 40. What's the difference between the two? So that is all to be appreciated only if one has a thorough knowledge of the Buddha's teachings. So therefore, we are very lucky, we are all very fortunate to have His Holiness the Dalai Lama on this earth today. We are very fortunate that we are breathing the same air as His Holiness the Dalai Lama today on this earth. We are very fortunate that we are treading on the same planet Earth where His Holiness the Dalai Lama is treading. So from that point of view, we're extremely fortunate that there is a second Buddha who appeared on this earth, and today we are together with him. Okay. So the point is to see how to make the most of his appearance on this earth, and that is through listening to the main essence of what he's doing, the main essence of his message for us, the enormous love that he has towards us, and what he wants us to do for our own happiness. So with that in mind, one, we are very fortunate to have TBC here, Tibetan Buddhist Center, very fortunate. And then say Jimbala, who just was the founding director here, all the very efficient staff here, the Winnie, then Yerching, and then say Wayne, extremely effective, and then we have Sonamla, then Libing, and then say the Faith, who's been somehow very closely connected since 2009, and then we have Suyin and the Kamala, and we see that there are a lot of these staff who are involved in this, and we really do need places like this to go to turn towards. So we are very fortunate from that point of view. And it is, for example, say we have Venerable Geshe, incredibly great, a refined scholar, a refined practitioner. We're here, and then in fact, I would not be happy to see that he's here. At the same time, he showed interest, and not because I'm not learned. Keep this in mind. It is simply that I have a partly of Buddhism, partly of English, so that combination maybe it's less. And then in terms of knowledge, my knowledge is nothing. In terms of my English, it is not at all, good. No matter what, it is true, the kindness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that I got the opportunity. I got so much opportunity to meet with many of the scientists, to meet with many of the neuroscientists, physicists, and the professors, and the great practitioners. So with exposure, the only difference is that they need a little more exposure. Beyond that, there's nothing special in me. So therefore, we are very fortunate that we have Venerable Geshe Dharma here. And in terms of knowledge, don't think that I have more than him. So you're very fortunate that there's a residential teacher here, Geshe Dharma. His knowledge is superb. In fact, since that he showed interest, then I told him that, it's really embarrassing for me. At the same time, so because of for me having greater opportunity and exposure-wise, a little more come out of English, right? And it may be good for Venerable Geshe Dharma to just see how this guy is saying, what words he's saying, what words he's using, so like this. So from that point of view, right? Then I invited. Otherwise, it is totally wrong. I should be receiving teachings from him. Okay, so here it's more for him as a language exercise, and for all of us here, it's more, so to see how we can activate the internal temple of compassion and so forth. Okay, so and we see that this all happens because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It all happens because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And see how much he loves each and every one of us. So with that in mind, visualize all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, particularly Buddhist Shakyamuni, the Vesak day, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the great past saints. And eventually, the next few days, you will just slowly come to know what exactly is the teachings of Buddha. And then let us not forget to visualize your true grandparents with you, all your family members, then all the other sentient beings, every sentient being, including cats, dogs, ants, mosquitoes, everyone with you. This is so important. Eventually you come to know the secret of happiness. What is the real secret of happiness? You'll come to know what these are. So one is the wisdom, and the other is compassion. So with that in mind, imagine that you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you. With that in mind, let's turn to page 2 and say the prayers together. And huge great compassion.
You taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel the perverted views, to do the Buddha Dharma
I pay homage. And huge great compassion. You taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views, to you the Buddha Dharma I pay homage. And huge great compassion. You taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views, to you the Buddha Dharma I pay homage. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the constant Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught his peace, which is freedom with aberrations. Stanza 2. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the constant Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught his peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mother of the Buddhas and of the hearers and Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes those have been migrated to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of conditions to subdue us at all the rights and all aspects. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. A teacher, guard and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Okay. Let's go to page 7. The Refuge. The last stanza. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, and let's say the Tibetan stanza, the second last one, 3 times. This Tibetan stanza, the translation which is what we read already. And this stanza, because that this Tibetan stanza is being said by so many saints, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama, since 11th century AD, because that this was being said millions, trillions of times by all the great saints. If you recite it in Tibetan, there's a tremendous blessing coming in each one of us. Okay, so with that, we recite this. Sangye chodam sodi chodam la chanju badu ane gyapsu che age jinso kebe sonam ki chola benje sangye jogara shu Sangye chodam sodi chodam la chanju badu ane gyapsu che age jinso kebe sonam ki chola benje sangye jogara shu Sangye chodam sodi chodam la chanju badu ane gyapsu che age jinso kebe sonam ki chola benje sangye jogara shu. Okay, let's recite this mantra, Om Ye Dharma. Before this, we recite read the meaning of the mantra first. All phenomena arise from the causes are taught by the Dharma. The cessation of causes is where it is taught by the great seer. So this mantra, the benefit is that, same should you have a same in your family, amongst the family members, your friends who are sick, who go through very difficult times, say who have depression, stress and so forth, then you can recite this mantra. You can recite the mantra for yourself, for others. So this mantra is very healing. And for those deceased, those who have left the world, for them, you can say this mantra. And then many of the Singaporeans, I'm sure you have your pet dogs, pet cats and so forth. Even these cats and dogs, when they become very sick and the organs failing, then in many cases you put them down. Instead of that, just let them be alive. And you won't believe. And say this mantra every time. You just give a special attention. Caress the dog, caress the cat. The moment you caress and start petting, the dog or the cat could feel your love and affection. The moment the animal feels your love, the animal, you won't believe. The animal will try his or her best to make you happy. And how to make you happy? Animal knows that the best thing by which I can make my owner happy is by just paying attention to him. Will it pay attention to him? The moment he or she pays attention to you, you recite this mantra, Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, with the reflection of the meaning, right? And then speak to the animal, saying that, don't worry. Take this teaching of the Buddha, and you will not take birth as an animal the next life. You will take birth as a human being. And then not only take birth as a human being, you will learn what is the internal temple. And then after you learning this internal temple, you don't remain like this. You share this internal temple, introduce others to the internal temple, and be like a sun to help others. So this is what you do. You will see the stark contrast. You will see the joy the animal feels. This animal will try to imbibe what you're saying. So this is, imagine how many millions and billions of animals are there on this earth. And who is really getting such a teaching? Except your pet dog, your pet cat. So therefore, from that point of view, forget about animals. there are 7 billion human beings. And how many of them at the time of the difficulties, death, and so forth, how many of them really hear this mantra, Om Ye Dharma, Hetu Prabhava? So from that point of view, your pet dog, your pet cat, all these animals, they are so fortunate. And then you can say the same thing to for your friends, for your relatives. So this is so precious. Okay, let's recite this now. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Dharma. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, let's turn to page 17. Half Sutra mantra. So here, the whole having faith, this is a very auspicious day. It's so auspicious. It's the Vesak day and the Buddha. The 3 very sacred events of the Buddha all combined together in one day. And this Dhyata Gatigadi, this is the essence of the advice given by the Buddha. Buddha exhorting thus that we should not. Why should you be in samsara? Come out, I'm there to help you. Come out of samsara. Come out of the fears of samsara. Don't be in your tension. Don't be stressful. Just come out of that. So, how to come out of that? Through traversing this path, Gati, Paragati, Parasankati, Bodhi, Swaha. Through these 5 paths that you just get out of samsara altogether and reach the ultimate state of happiness. Okay, and then you hearing this very melodious voice of the Buddha. You hearing this very melodious voice of the Buddha. Just imagine that, wow, it's amazing. I'm so fortunate today with the Vesak day. The Buddha Shakyamuni. What a great the advice from Buddha Shakyamuni. Then you imagine, you inspire your 2 grandparents, all the family members, all sentient beings. Okay, see, we should not be in fear. We should not be in pain of samsara anymore. Let's come out of samsara and let's go along with, let us all come with me. Come on, we can go together towards enlightenment, towards the greatest happiness. Okay, so with this in mind, you are leading and everyone is with you, joining you and going towards enlightenment. Okay, let's say this now. Om Okay. It is indeed very auspicious. Had it not been the case that I'm here with you, or we all, if it is not for Tibetan Buddhist Center, then our being together on this very auspicious day is not possible. And then, because of which the say, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow is also not possible. So from that point of view, the fact that everything is happening so conducively is all because of the, say, the karmic connection, no doubt, very strong karmic connection, and your connection with Dharma, and all of us, our connection with His Holiness in Dharma. So from that point of view, we are very fortunate. We are very fortunate. At the same time, to speak very honestly, we met today, and then we never know. We never know what next, right? So we make the most out of our being together. So the first thing that we need to keep in mind is that the Buddhist Shakyamuni, he achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. After becoming enlightened, he did not teach for 49 days. For example, this day, today, on this day, this our compassionate teacher became enlightened. And then for the next 49 days, he did not teach. He just remained gazing at a tree. Then the kings of the heavenly abode, kings of the celestial beings, Indra, Brahma, and the kings, the Brahma and Indras of these celestial beings, they themselves were being revered as gods, many human beings. And the two of them, they could get an indication, they could get some indications and omens that this young prince, Siddhartha, he achieved Buddhahood, enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. It is already in 49 days. And yet, he's not giving any teachings. So they were just wondering, the kings of the celestial beings, Indra and Brahma, they started wondering why the fully awakened one, enlightened one, so why he is not giving teaching now? Then both of them descended on earth. Then they approached the Buddha Shakyamuni, the fully awakened one. We came here. Then they made prostrations. They touched the ornament of forehead to the Buddha's feet, and made the request. The very purpose for the enlightened one to become enlightened from this young prince as Prince Siddhartha. is to benefit the sentient beings. You are disillusioned by the miseries of samsara. You are disillusioned by the miseries the sentient beings are going through, because of which you follow this path. Now you have found the final path. Please don't remain silent. Please give teachings. Turn the wheel of Dharma. Please give teachings. Then the Buddha, absorbed in meditation, he stood out of the meditation. He just came out of meditation and said, Indra and Brahma, you're true. The purpose for me to achieve enlightenment is to help the sentient beings. Then he said one stanza. In Tibetan, it is Sabshi Tujan Dumaje, Dusitabu Chushi Kuini, Sula Shedia Kor Minube, Mima Navinosun Nevercha. And the Buddha said, this path which I have discovered, this reality which I have discovered, it is so profound, it is so peaceful, it is devoid of elaborations, it is in the nature of the clear light, non-composite. Such a nectar-like path which I have discovered is so difficult. Hardly you can find people to fathom the depth of this teaching. So therefore, I prefer to retire into the woods in silence. This is what the Buddha said. Then they came, Indra and Brahma, they made obscurations. Then they offered the Dharma wheel, they offered the conch, indicating this wheel to turn the wheel of Dharma, conch to blow the voice of the Dharma to all sentient beings through this conch. Then they made very strong requests, and finally the Buddha accepted. So it all happened. It all happened 49 days after today. So today is when the Buddha Shakyamuni achieved enlightenment. Okay. So with this, the teaching which, the path which the Buddha Shakyamuni discovered is so profound. It's so profound. It's so profound. And so what is this profound? What is this profound path which the Buddha remains silent, not to speak about, right? Not to speak about. And of course, in the end we're going to have question and answers, right? Question and answers. So any questions that you might have, feel free to ask me during the interaction session, right? Say questions will arise in relation to what. Okay, so so this profound path, keep in mind, this profound reality which Buddha discovered, and which the Buddha was telling the Indra and Brahma that this is so profound. This profound thing is what we discussed this morning as the eternal temple. What we are all seeking is happiness, ultimate happiness. So this ultimate happiness, in a way the Buddha is indicating that it exists within ourselves. It is not outside, it is not external. Okay, keep this in mind. Say a sound of a clap. A sound of a clap, right? So sound of a clap should necessarily come into being through the combination of two hands. Sound of the clap is analogous to all the miseries that we are going through. The tension, the word tension, the stress, expectations, right? And then depression, and say the pain of losing near and dear ones. All these are analogous to the sound of a clap. Just as the sound of a clap comes into being through the combination of the two hands, all our miseries should necessarily come into being through the combination of the two factors, two conditions, external condition and internal condition. External conditions, say for example, say, to put it simply, say you're by yourself, and then how do you react if you're by yourself? How do you react if you're by yourself? It depends. Some people will say, okay, oh, I'm so lonely. And others will say that, oh, what a privacy. It's the same external thing. It's the same external thing. External thing is the same for the two person A and person B. But person A feels that, I'm so lonely. And person B, what a privacy. Right? And then if internal thinking is not set properly, the same person who said, I'm lonely, went by yourself, then when you are put with some other people, the person who said, I have no privacy. Right? So, what should we do? Should we put person A with other people, or by himself or herself? So what happened? For the second person, when you're by yourself, wow, what a privacy. I have a lot of things to do. Right? And when you're with other people, oh, I'm not lonely. What a companion. I'm so happy that I'm not lonely. So this is our internal thinking is one thing, and external factors, these are two things. So if something goes wrong with the internal thinking, external factors, it is numerous. You can work to remove the external factors, but we can't really eliminate all the external factors. Right? Okay. Now the best thing is, of the two hands, one is the external factor and the other one is the internal factor. Of the two, right? When the two come together, the sound is invariable. Indispensably, the sound arises. So when the two factors, external, internal, come together, the sound of the pain and miseries invariably arises. Now, whereas, on the other hand, you have the right hand, external factor is so strong like this, but the internal factor, if the internal factor is put out, is drawn back, then however strong the external factor is, there's no sound. So your misery stops. This is so important. So this cessation, freedom of the misery, is actually within us. It is there within us. Because we create this factor, right? Because we create this factor, this internal ultimate source of happiness becomes obscured. External factors are always there, right? For example, with any kind of external factor, how we respond and how His Holiness Dharma response is going to be very different. His Holiness will always be poised, calm, amazing. For example, say, how many of you have watched the video of His Holiness the Dharma receiving the Nobel Prize? Right? You must watch it. You must watch it. You won't believe the intensity of the calmness, composure. It's so like, who's going to receive the Nobel Prize? It's not him, for sure. No excitement. It's just so calm, peaceful, composed. Right? And whereas if it is us who is going to receive the Nobel Prize, we will jump. This is how we are so vulnerable. We are so easily shaken by the external conditions. Right? So basically, the thing is that what you want is happiness. And keep in mind that happiness, real happiness, we have to keep in mind that real happiness is a freedom. Freedom is a real happiness. Keep this in mind. Say, we don't want to age. We don't want to be old age. Right? If we have a freedom to control it, this is the real happiness. Likewise, we don't want to suffer. If we have a choice to go for suffering or no suffering, that is freedom. Freedom is what we see. Real happiness is the freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. We have to keep this in mind. Okay, now misery is when you are easily stirred by the external conditions. Right? When you're easily affected by external conditions, you have no choice. You're getting it? When you're easily stirred, affected by the external conditions, for example, say you go to one place, unclean place, untidy place, and then some people, they easily become sick, and others not. What do you prefer? You want to be someone who easily becomes sick, or who would be resilient, no sickness, wherever you go. Which do you prefer? Anyone? No sickness, exactly. Which means that only when you are able to make yourself that you become very stable, not affected by external conditions, you maintain your freedom. Freedom is the opposite of the loss of freedom. Right? Loss of freedom. And the loss of freedom is misery. The real misery is when you lose the freedom. So what we have to do is that you have to cut this loss of the freedom. So how to cut the loss of freedom? That you not be affected by external conditions. Right? External conditions are there, but it does not affect you to create the internal condition. Internal condition is removed. At that point, you have a total freedom. Total freedom is where the misery comes to an end. So this is so important for us to keep. Now, I'll slowly take you into technical parts, right? Okay, so when I speak a little easy, oh, that's easy. Then I go to technical, it's so technical, right? Okay, let's, what we do is that we do have 2 phases of my stay here in Singapore. 2 phases. The first one, I think 6 days, and then after touring outside and coming back to Singapore once more, that's the second phase. So in total, you're going to have a good amount of time. So within that, I'm hoping to let you get some, idea of the Buddhist and the concept of your own happiness. Okay. With that in mind, say the real treasure of your happiness. The real treasure of your happiness is not elsewhere. It is within each one of us. This is the greatest hope. This is the greatest hope. And it is not that only if you're Buddhist you have this potential, you have this happiness. All others, they don't have it. It's not true. Everyone has. Everyone has. Right? Whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christian, whether you're Hindu, whether you're a non-believer, whether you're a scientist, whether you're a cook, whether you're a cat, dog, mosquitoes, whatever, we all have this ultimate source of happiness. From the point of view of this ultimate source of happiness, there's no difference between the president and the housekeeper, house babysitter. There's no difference. We are all just equal from their point of view, right? So therefore, the Buddhist Academy emphasizes so much on dismantling the caste system. The Buddhist Academy, in his Buddhist Academy's eyes, we are all just equal. Number one, we're all equal, and particularly from the viewpoint of his love and affection, everyone he feels like his own child. Right? So therefore, we need to know that deep inside, my own ultimate source of happiness is within me. The next question, how can I know this? Right? Okay, keep in mind that particularly the style of the teaching of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is in line with the original Nalanda tradition of the teaching, where there's so much intellectual discussions. It is so important. So one time when I was in England, there was one physicist. And how many of you are from physics? Anyone? How many of you are not from physics? Okay. So not from physics. This is not a good story. Let's listen to this, including myself. There was a brilliant physicist in Cambridge. I was in Cambridge for about 2.5 months in 2003. Then this physicist, during our both of us had a common friend, and the common friend invited both of us for dinner. And he was not at all eager to talk to me. He's just a policeman, blind follower, right? I'm a physicist, and because of the common friend, he had to talk to me. Otherwise, it's very non-courteous. So he started, and then He said that only, now all of us, only physics is education. Only physics is education. Right? And I said, why? Then he said, only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. So all of us belong to this category, right? Then I said, hold on, just wait. Then he said, yes. Listen what the Buddha has to say. So I quoted the Buddha. Wise men, the monks, and the nun. Just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing, and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them into practice, not simply because you respect me. He just remained dumbfounded, and he said, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. So what I'm saying is that this should be our approach. That this is an approach directed by the Buddha Shakyamuni, our compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni himself. So with this in mind, any queries that may come to your mind, feel free to ask me during the question and answer session. Okay, so with this, the next question is, say, if the ultimate source of happiness is within each one of us, right? And some of you may be going through difficulties. Some of you may know your friends, may know your relatives, brothers, sisters, parents going through difficult times, right? And then, unfortunately, very recently, in fact, I was tackling with 2 or 3 cases of people who are thinking of committing suicide because of depression. Literally, I was handling some of those people. Literally, very pathetic situation. And then, very recently, again, I heard another case, a very tragic case, and a person died. He took, say, the acid. And it's very pathetic death, very pathetic. Okay, so what I'm saying, for sure you may be knowing some of your friends like this, and if you do come to know these people, it is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to inform them, to convince them that why should you feel demoralized? You also have the ultimate source of happiness. Ultimate source of happiness that you have. And the happiness, the incredible joy the Buddha is experiencing, there's no difference. The Buddha said it, right? For you to say this, for you to convey this, we need to have the conviction ourselves. So the next question is, how can I know that I have this ultimate source of happiness? Right? Why do people commit suicide? They don't see any hope. They don't see any hope. They don't see any value inside. They don't see this treasure inside. So how, the question is, how can I possibly know that there is such an incredible ultimate source of happiness, by no means which is inferior to the happiness the Buddha has experienced? How do we know that? This is the question. So with this, the next topic is the Buddha nature. We all have this incredible, the most precious seed that potentially exists on this earth, which is known as the Buddha nature. The Buddha nature, it exists within each one of us. The next question, how do I know this? How do I know this? Okay, say, this is water. The water here, say, which month of the year in Singapore is the hottest? Any idea? Now, okay, let's say you're coming to Tibetan Buddhist Center to receive teachings from Geshe, Venerable Geshe, right? And then it was so hot, and then suddenly there was something happened, the traffic block. There was the policeman standing there, the traffic block there, and you got stuck there for say 2 hours. You can't move there, you can't move here, right? And then you're so thirsty, and somebody brings a cup of water for you. And the water, unfortunately, it was the water from the factory, the drainage. From there the water comes. You like to drink it? You don't want to drink it. You don't want to drink this. Why do you don't want to drink it? Because it is dirty. Because it is filthy. The next question. Okay, then we treat this water. All the water which we are drinking now, like this water, all the water which we are drinking now, they're all treated water. Either through osmosis, through special filter treatment, and so forth. You treat the same water with chemical or with processes, then all the dirt and filth are removed. Then what comes out? Water becomes so clean. Now you want to drink it? 100%. You want to drink? Yes, I'll drink it. Okay, don't forget this example before I go to ask a question to you. One example. Second question that I might have is that I bring a charcoal from India, a black charcoal from India, and I ask you to make it white inside out. I make it, to make it white inside out, and then I'll give you, of course, you will be rewarded for that. Rewarded. What reward? You'll get $10. And then what do you do? There are two things. Either you keep removing the black part, or you expose this to a special machine, where the machine itself, the process will cost you like $1 million. And then you keep it white because of the change of the molecular structures, atomic structure. You can make it gold, you can make it white, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you go through the regular process, removing the black part, what happens to this charcoal? If you keep removing the black part, because I want it white, I don't want black. So what will happen if you remove the black part? What happens to charcoal? The charcoal will disappear. You will not be left with charcoal. Charcoal will disappear. But unlike this example, with the water, you remove the dirt, water doesn't disappear. Water becomes so clean, so pure. Right? Do you see the distinction? With the water, you remove the dirt, and the water doesn't disappear. The water becomes so clean, so pure. You don't have to bring clean water from elsewhere. It's just coming out from within. Whereas with the black charcoal, you keep removing the black part, the charcoal disappears, it doesn't become white. Okay, is there anyone who can give an answer as to what is the difference between these two? Why in the one case, instead of the water disappearing, water becomes so clean, so pure? In the other case, instead of the charcoal becoming white, the charcoal disappears altogether. So what is the difference? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes over there?
Water has the potential. It has the potential to become.
Very good.
Because the water by nature is already there, it just have the contamination.
Perfect. Very good, thank you. And I'm sure that most of you have the similar answer. So the answer given is that for the water, the true nature of the water is not dirty. True nature of the water, the true potential or the true nature of the water is not dirty, right? Whereas with the black charcoal, the intrinsic nature of the charcoal is black. So when you remove the black part, you remove the intrinsic nature, the true nature of the charcoal you are removing. When the true nature is removed, nothing will be left in the air. Whereas with the water, when you remove the dirts are not the true nature of the water, right? What is the true nature of the water? Remove the dirt and the true nature of the water will come out. When you remove the dirt, what happens to water? It becomes so clean, so pure. How many of you agree with me? You all agree with me. Okay, so which means that the true nature of the water is not dirty. However polluted, however dirty the water is, the true nature of the water is never dirty. It is so pure. At most, this true nature of the water can be obscured. By the adventitious stains. Getting it? Our mind, how clean is the mind? You wake up in the morning, Monday morning, there's no smile. Right? Which means our mind is not pure, it's with agitation, it's with uneasiness, it's with stress, right? Okay. Then say the fluctuation happens. Fluctuation means it's not the true nature. True nature is very stable. And then say Friday evening, Saturday, smiles come. Right? Monday morning, again back. It's not stable. Which means that our mind is so turbulent, but this is not the true nature. Our mind, the true nature of mind is not turbulent, it's so stable, it's so pure. It's so pure like water. Our mind is not like the black charcoal. Our mind is like the dirty water. Of course it is a little dirty at the moment, don't worry. Although it's a little dirty, but the true nature of our mind is never dirty. It is so pure. We must know this example. On the basis of this, we must get the conviction that my mind, the true nature of my mind is not dirty, it is not defiled. It is so pure. Okay, now the Aranigarjunas, in fact, it was initially separately taught by the Buddha himself and later commented by Aranigarjuna's student, Acharya Nagabodhi, who said that enlightenment, your enlightenment is not bestowed upon you by anyone. Nobody will bestow upon you your enlightenment. One, the causes of your enlightenment is not being held by anyone. It is you, through discovering your own enlightenment within, the Buddha nature within, that you become enlightened. Right? This is what the Buddha said, what further commented upon by Acharya Nagabodhi. So, analogy given is that imagine a person underneath his simple hut, the floor, there's a huge treasure. There's a huge treasure. And yet, the person does not discover that. As long as the person does not discover the treasure underneath his floor, the person is the poorest. The person could be the poorest. The moment the person discovers this treasure underneath the ground, the person is no more poor. The person could be the richest on this earth. You getting it? And this is what the Buddha is saying, that we all have this incredible treasure hidden. Right? Hidden. Not knowing, not being aware that such an incredible treasure exists within us. What is that treasure? Buddha nature within us. Buddha nature, it simply means it is not that only if you're a Buddhist you have it. That's not true. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. So therefore, whether Buddhists, non-Buddhists, Christian, Hindus, Muslims, whatever, believers, non-believers, we all have this treasure inside. Okay. Now with this, the next question is, say, if the true nature of our mind is so pure, so in the case of water, there are the temporary sediments, pollutants, defilements with the water, which obviously can be seen. But with the mind, what are the defilements? What are the defilements which obscure this incredibly pure Buddha nature within us? This is the question. Okay. So for this again, it reminded me of Aranigarjuna's text. We all must study this text. In fact, if I'm not sure, Dharma we're doing in this session, or I think the next session. Okay. Second phase. Okay, thank you. During the second phase, we will do the Dharma. So there, Aranigarjuna, oh amazing, Aranigarjuna, he's revered as the second Buddha. If you all really want to be happy, let us forget about sectarianism. I'm Gilug, I'm Sakya, I'm Kaiku, I'm Nyingma. Forget this. Try to identify yourself as what Aranigarjuna said. At the time of Aranigarjuna, there's no Sakya, no Guru, no Nyingma. They are not Buddhists. They are the best of the happy people. They're the best of the examples of the happy people. And yet they don't have Sakya, Nyingma, Guru, right? Forget about this. This is a ailment. This is poison. This is a poison. Forget about it. Just know the Nanda masters, know the thoughts of the Buddha. That will take you towards your happiness. What do you see? You come to Tibetan Buddhist center, you go to any kind of center, not to have a sense of belonging. Perhaps you went there for happiness, I'm sure. And then in the process of seeing happiness, you are welcoming the poisons, right? And the next few days teaching, from there you will come to know, involving that is a poison. You'll come to know that. So therefore, always His Holiness the Dalai style is always go to the root. Don't get engrossed, entangled in the secondary branches. Go to the root of the Naganta. Okay. So with this in mind, then Aranigarjuna, he gave such a beautiful example in Dharma, in praise of Dharma. This is a very precious text. We must all study this. So there, in this text, Aranigarjuna gave the example, a very beautiful example. He said that, say, if you are to read this book, you have to study this book. You have to study this book. That's a very interesting topic. And then, say, it is in the middle of the night, suddenly there's a power cut. And then you are so anxious, there's a tremendous desire to study this. There's no light. Then I said, okay, upstairs there are 2 rooms, room A and room B. In both rooms there are lights. You can go there and study here. Then you go to room A, there's no light. Room A is so dark. Room B, you went, there's light there. And then you stay there in room B, you study. Next time I met, I asked you, which room did you go? Room B. Why not A? Then what's your reply? Because it is dark. No, there's light here. You may say, there's no light. I said, there's light here. You said, no, there's no light. Then I take you there, and it is so dark. And then we found that there is a picture there. There is a picture, a vase. Vase there, upside down. Vase upside down. Then I said, the light is inside this picture. Right? The light is inside this picture. Okay. Then you will ask me, how do you know? How do you know that there's light inside this picture? Then the response given is that you can punch a hole from any direction of the picture. You can punch a hole. You punch a hole and the light from inside beams forth towards your direction. Again, you are not so happy, right? Oh, it could be accidental, that there's one light inside there coming towards this. You punch a hole from another direction, whichever you like. Again, you punch a hole from there, again light beams through the air. Still, you're not convinced. Then what should we do? Smash the vase. You smash the vase, and the same light as bright as what is there in room B is there in room A. In terms of the brightness of the light in room A and room B, there's no difference. The only difference is what? The light in room A is obscured by the picture, the vase. The light in room B, it is free of the vase. There's a difference. So the light which is freed of the vase is the omniscient mind of the Buddhas. The light in the vase is our mind, which is obscured by the vase-like mental defilements. You getting it? Okay, the next question. Wow, if this is true, then why should I commit suicide? There's no point, right? By no means. Say, particular people who commit suicide, they think that they are so inferior. By no means I'm inferior. I'm equal to everyone, pertaining to the ultimate source of happiness, which is the Buddha nature. We're all just equal. Then, if you're able to convince this, then they will just heal. The people who into depression, they'll start healing, right? Okay, this is so precious. Okay, next question. If this is what is happening to a mind, the next question is, what are those mental defilements which obscure this incredible, beautiful mind, incredible, beautiful light, incredible, beautiful treasure? What are the mental defilements? Okay, so the mental defilements, they're twofold, they're 2 kinds. Afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. I may use some technical terms, don't worry. I will not hesitate to explain each of these words, and should you still feel challenging, difficult, feel free to ask me questions. Okay. The mental defilements which obscure this beautiful Buddha nature that exists within us is twofold. One is afflictive obscurations, and the other one is cognitive obscurations. Okay, let us all say this again. The mental defilements which obscure our beautiful Buddha nature within. This mental defilement is of two kinds. What are they? Afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. For the time, you don't worry. If somebody asks you, what is afflictive obscurations? You can say that at this moment he did not teach. Just say this, right? As long as you can say that the mental defilements which obscure mind, which obscure this beautiful Buddha nature is twofold, afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. So far, if you're able to say this much, you passed. Okay, the next question. What does it mean by afflictive obscurations? What does it mean by cognitive obscurations too? Okay, the first, afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations, we think in terms of garlic. So for example, how many of you don't take garlic? Okay, yes, 1, 2. Okay, let's say we all don't take garlic, right? And then somebody accidentally smashed garlic in your mouth, right? And you can't even smell. Okay, so you see that your mouth is full of garlic smashed. And then, who did that, right? Okay, then somebody wondered, I don't eat garlic at all. And then the person apologized, right? Person was so apologetic, and the person, what will the person do? First person will remove the garlic, solid garlic from your mouth. One. After remove the garlic, then the person will what? Do what? Will wash and make sure that nothing is there. Okay. Now with your hand, if you try to see, do you see any garlic left there? Nothing. Right? You smell it? The smell is still there. So with the garlic, there are two things. One is the solid part of the garlic, and the other is the remnant smell too. Right? Solid garlic and the remnant smell. Likewise, within the mind, what defiles the mind? What defiles the mind? One is the solid parts, the manifest part, manifest defilements, and the other is the remnant smell of the defilements. So the solid part is the afflictive obscurations, and the remnant smell of these afflictive obscurations is the cognitive obscurations. Right? Okay. The next question. What exactly is afflictive obscurations? Is your next question. What exactly is afflictive obscurations? Right? Afflictive obscurations is of, okay, first let us say like this. So finally, let's just imagine that on a Vesak day from, say, Tibetan Buddhist Center, we finished the talk, and then because of all the blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then you become a totally changed person, right? You become a totally changed person, you become very compassionate, no anger, right? And somebody hits you, say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not, okay, you're okay, right? Okay, you change completely. And then with your meditation, right? With this meditation, you will achieve something. What achievements can we achieve? What can we get after all these processes of transformation? Two results. One, in the form of personal nirvana, and the other in the form of full enlightenment or Buddhahood. Two results. Right? So with your arduous, or with your concerted effort in the practice, proper practice, you will achieve how many kinds of the achievements, how many kinds of attainments can you possibly achieve? There are two. What are they? Personal nirvana, personal freedom from the freedom from miseries, and the other one is full enlightenment or Buddhahood. These two. You getting it? Okay, how many of you have any of these two now? How many? If there is anyone who has achieved any one of them, the person will not come here. 100%, right? Because look at this guy, he has not achieved that himself. How can he help me? Right? Okay, so what I'm saying is that if somebody has achieved that, the person is not here today. Right? Okay, now to the next question. If you have not achieved that, do you have this the hidden treasure? The nirvana and the Buddhahood? Yes, we have the hidden treasure. But why not we have these two now? Because these two treasures, they are obscured by the defilements. You getting it? These two treasures, which two treasures? Personal nirvana and total Buddhahood. These two are there, hidden within us. These two are there, hidden within us, and we don't have it now because these two are hidden. These two are obscured. Okay, now look. What obscures this nirvana? What obscures you from achieving this nirvana is known as afflictive obscurations. What obscures you from achieving Buddhahood? That's known as cognitive obscurations. You're getting it? Okay. Anyone who can tell me what does it mean by afflictive obscurations? The obscurations, mental obscurations, which obscure us from achieving nirvana. And what is cognitive obscuration? Obscurations which obscure us from achieving Buddhahood. You're getting it? Okay, very good. So this we must have these, right? Okay, here in TPC inside, you all have this intact, right? And at the moment we go out, we should disappear. Okay, so let's say again, what does it mean by afflictive obscurations? Mental obscurations, the presence which obscures you from achieving nirvana. And what is cognitive obscuration? Mental obscurations, the presence of which obscures you from achieving Buddhahood. Very good. Okay, I'm very happy. Now the next question still remains. What exactly is those obscurations which obscure us from achieving nirvana? Or what exactly is the afflictive obscurations? So the afflictive obscurations is of three kinds. Afflictions, contaminant karmas, and their active seeds. Afflictions, contaminant karmas, and active seeds. Okay, right? Okay. What does it mean by afflictions? Afflictions is any mental state. Any mental state, the first one, afflictions. Any mental state, the presence of which disturbs your mind. For example, anger, jealousy, craving, and so forth. Right? And the fear. They're all, the mere presence of this disturbs your mind. How many of you have the experience of anger? No? From Singapore? No. How many have experienced anger? Okay, and what is it like? Wow, today I'm going to be angry, very angry, what excitement? No, right? The moment there's anger, you simply, there's so much disturbance happening in yourself. There's no joy at all inside. So, any mental state, the presence of which disturbs your mind, that is known as afflictions. One. Then, affliction, for example, say anger. This anger disturbs your mind. With this anger, then what do? Then, when somebody say, your brother, your sister, your mother comes to, hey, shall I serve you tea? What tea? You're angry, and then you start acting badly. So this bad action as a result, bad action as a result of the bad intent, the bad thought, that bad action coming out of physical, verbal, and mental, these three actions, they are known as the contaminated karmas. So initially we have the mental agitation happening. This is the affliction, and this agitation will be reflected in the form of physical, verbal, and mental misbehaviors, bad actions. So these bad actions are known as contaminated karmas. Two, and then what's the third one? Active seeds of the two. Active seeds of the two. Which two? Afflictions and the contaminated karmas. Okay, how many of you are angry now? No one, I'm sure. Right? No one. Then how many of you, there's a tendency of becoming angry the moment you get out? You get out and you reach your home, and particularly Monday, right? Then agitation arises. So how come that you have agitation? You are so peaceful in TPC, right? Although the agitation, the anger was not there, but the seed of the anger was there. Seed of anger was there, while the anger, manifest anger was not there now. The seed of anger is there. So indication of this is that later on anger can easily be burst, easily can come out, to manifest. So the seed of anger is there. So these three constitute the afflictive obscurations. Is it clear? Okay, now the next. What is the next? Cognitive obscurations. What exactly is cognitive obscurations? Right? Okay, what exactly is cognitive obscuration? Say, afflictive obscurations, which is like the solid garlic. Then you're removing the afflictive of the solid garlic, like afflictive obscurations. The smell is left. That is the cognitive obscuration. Are you happy? I'm sure many of you are not happy. What exactly? This is what we've said already before. Nothing added now. What exactly is the cognitive obscuration? This is extremely technical, and I promise to explain this after you pass one exam. Because I also must give you an assignment, right? Say, what we're going to do is that over time, the explanation of Heart Sutra, the meditation emptiness, after these, once these become little take shape in you, then the cognitive obscuration. What exactly is cognitive obscuration? Then you will see, wow, this is amazing. This is what is never what I've heard before, cognitive obscuration, right? And you could identify that within you. And then you will find such joy that, now look, I could see what is wrong with me. Only when you see what is wrong with you, you can rectify it, right? So this is amazing thing. To identify what the cognitive obscuration is, this is something which is so unique of the Buddhist activist teachings. And so well explained by the great Damdul-la masters. Okay, right? So who's going to say volunteer to make sure that you don't forget this question, and later on you ask this question to me once more. Who's going to volunteer? Anyone? Once you raise your hand, you have to repeat the question, right? Okay, so that the next time you should be able to ask this question to me. Otherwise, I'm not responsible. Okay, anyone? Yes, Sonamla is there. Yes, at the back there. Wayne, okay. So true. Can you repeat the question, Sonamla?
What is cognitive obscuration?
What exactly is cognitive obscuration? More than the analogy. More than the, so far, what is the, in what way I explained it?
Smell of garlic.
With the help of analogy, that's it. I did not identify what exactly is cognitive obscuration. I simply give you the analogy, right? Okay, more than the analogy, what exactly is cognitive obscuration, right? Okay,
How to spell
so
obscuration?
Wayla, what is the question? Would you want to remind me?
What exactly is the cognitive obscuration?
More than the
More than the
analogy. Very good, thank you. Okay, so this I promise to give you only if you pass the test of understanding what is emptiness, right? You pass the exam and then I'll be happy. Okay, so
Auspiciousness.
now, with this, now imagine that, imagine that we all have the mind. And the mind, it has the true nature and its adventitious nature. Adventitious nature is the manifest mind. Anger, attachment, jealousy, fear, compassion, and so forth. This is the manifest version. And the true nature is what? The perfect purity. Don't forget it. What's the true nature? Your mind has two natures. One is the true nature, and the other one is the manifest nature. What is manifest nature? So defined, so agitated. You agree with me? Now what's the true nature of your mind? Perfect purity. Okay, let us say this again. What is the manifest nature of your mind? The agitation, fear, anxiety, and so forth. And what's the true nature of your mind? Perfect purity. From the point of view of the true nature of your mind and the Buddha's mind, there's no difference. Keep this in mind. If someone who is on the verge to commit suicide, if the person discovers that this person, he or she, also has this true nature of mind, which is by no means different from the Buddha's mind, the person will never commit suicide. 100%. Right? Okay. So this way, now each one of us has the capacity to save many of these lives. To save many of these lives. You by gaining conviction in this Buddha nature, and then convincing others of this reality is so precious. Okay, now with this, the Buddha nature that we are talking about, the incredibly precious treasure that exists within each one of us, this technically, now I'm going to more technical. Technically, it is of two kinds. It is of two kinds. Proliferating Buddha nature, and the natural Buddha nature. Proliferating Buddha nature and the natural Buddha nature. Okay. Proliferating Buddha nature and the natural Buddha nature. Okay. But the living phase, so what time should we stop? 4. Okay, we'll continue. So no break. Okay, fine. So we have like half an hour. Yeah. Okay. So now with this, the Buddha nature, the treasure that exists within each one of us, the treasure within each one of us is of two kinds. One is proliferating Buddha nature, and another one is natural Buddha nature. Don't forget it. Proliferating Buddha nature and the natural Buddha nature. Okay. What is proliferating Buddha nature? What is the natural Buddha nature? Right? Okay. Let's say that if you look at if there are two statues, one is the statue of the very compassionate Buddha Shakyamuni, and one is the statue of a demon. Both statues are made of diamond. What are you going to do? You're going to throw away the demon statue? It's done. Right? Appearance-wise, there's difference. But the material-wise, there's no difference. Both are very precious. You getting it? So the proliferating Buddha nature is like the Buddha statue, which is so appealing. And what is the other one? The natural Buddha nature is like the material diamond. Although the demon statue, but the material-wise is so precious. Right? Material-wise is so precious. Okay, so now this is a little technical. Bear with me. And I would say that okay. By the way, this is our the lesson, first lesson, or the 20th lesson. First lesson, right? Okay, we can't expect to solve all the technicalities. Technicalities are bound to be here, and if the technicalities remain on the verge to leave Singapore for India, then you complain. Otherwise, the next 2-3 days don't complain. It's just, the monastic members, for example, Venerable Geshe and Damdul-la, just ask them how many years the monastic members they study, right? So this topic itself, we are learning this on day 1, right? This topic, you ask the monastic members, they study only after rigorous, 2-3 years of rigorous training in debate, logic, epistemology, psychology. Only then they are introduced after, the year 4 or 5. And in that case, the day 1, not even the day 1, first session. Right? So, surely there's going to be little technicalities. Then bear with me. Okay. Now, to really introduce this concept, which concept? Proliferating Buddha nature and natural Buddha nature. To really introduce this concept, I can't evade introducing another technical concept. Don't be afraid. Another technical concept known as the concept of the entities and the isolates. The concept of the entities and the isolates. Okay, you don't panic. This concept, right? I promise, all these little tiny goals initially, you will see that just disclose this and all the topics which we're going to cover over time, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, then the next 3, 4, 5, 6 days, the second phase, you will see that many of the technicalities can easily be solved through this understanding. And by no means is difficult. Some people may say that it's difficult. I promise it's not difficult. And still, I have to say that it's technical. Otherwise, you will not listen to me. Yeah. Okay. So here, say, what did I promise to explain? Entities and isolates. Okay. This is a very precious concept. Very precious concept. If you know this concept, many of your fights in the family will be solved. Right? Many of the unnecessary quarrels in the family is all because of failing to know this concept. Right? Believe it or not, you know this concept, and then you see that many of the problems in the family, the fights, the quarrels, just so trivial things, and then both of you don't understand entity and isolate concept. And because of which there's confusion. With the confusion, then you end up fighting. Right? What confusion? I'll give you some examples. Then you will say, it's very true. Okay, let's see. Okay, what concept I'm going to introduce to you? Concept of entities and isolates. Okay, we'll introduce this concept and we'll stop here for today. Okay. Don't be philosophers a moment. Be who you are. Right? Speak your mind, not speak from the mind of the philosopher. Okay. What is in my hand? Nothing. Okay. What is in my hand? How many things are there in my hand? Okay, don't say 2. How many things are there in my hand? Repeat it. Okay. Don't tone down your voice. How many things are there?
1.
Very good. Maintain this tone. Okay, what is that thing in my hand? What is that one in flower? What about the color of the flower? Is it in my hand or outside my hand? Color of the flower. Is it in my hand or outside my hand? Outside? Inside? Okay. The color of the flower? The color of the flower? Is it the flower or is it different from the flower? Why are you smiling? Why not giving answer now? Okay, color of the flower and the flower, are these two one or different? Huh? Okay, if you say same, then the shape of the flower and the flower, are these two one or different? Same. The shape of the flower and the color of the flower, are these two same or different? The shape and the color. Different, right? Okay, now on my hand, the shape of the flowers in my hand, yes, no? Yes. Color of the flowers also in my hand, yes, no? Yes. And these two are one or different? Different. Different means more than 2. Right? So how many things are there in my hand now? 1. The shape is there? Yes. The flower is there? Yes. The color is there? Yes. There are more than 1?
2.
Huh? 2. Okay. Now look, you are changing your mind. I asked you not to change your mind. Okay, this is the confusion. This is the confusion. Without being able to solve this confusion, problems are bound to happen in the family, in your workplace, wherever you go, problems are bound to happen. Unnecessary problems will happen. Okay, now to solve this problem, if you say that there are 2 things, in my hand, right? And the shopkeeper will give you 1 biscuit, will say that there are 2 biscuits. And you have to take 1 biscuit and you have to pay for 2 biscuits. Because you said that there are 2 things in my hand, right? And if you say that there are 2 things, more than worse than that, people will put you or send you to the medical hospital, right? If you say that there are 2 things in my hand, people will send you to the medical hospital. And if you say there's 1, again there's a problem. Because the shape of the flower, the color of the flower, they're all in my hand, and these 2 are not 1, right? So you are in a dilemma. So to solve this dilemma, we can't evade. We can't possibly solve this problem until you understand what is known as entities and the isolates. Okay, right? You look at this flower. What is it? Do you see something in my hand? Yes. And what is your emotional reaction? It's very appealing, right? It's very appealing. So, what gives you appealing feeling? That is the object. And what feels the appeal is the subject. Your mind is the subject, and the flower which appeals you, that is your object. So in fact, what is happening is that any emotions arising within you, any emotions arising, happiness, pain, and so forth, it's all happening because of the interaction between the object and the subject. You're getting it? Right? Any emotions that arise in you should necessarily arise through the combination of the object and the subject. You're getting it? Okay. Now, in between there's nothing, it's just a space. In between is just a space. There's the object and the subject, that's it. Now, when you do form, whether the flower and the color of the flower, whether these 2 are 1 or different, you have to analyze either on the object or on the subject. Getting it? Okay. Still it may be a little tiny, don't worry. Don't worry. Right? After half an hour, if you don't understand, then worry. At this point, no worry. Okay, let's say the flower and the color of the flower. So to say whether these 2 are 1 or different, how many ways are there to do that? To see whether these 2 are 1 or different. On the object, to see whether these 2 are 1 different, and on the subject, 1 are different, right? And you may be a little confused about the subject, don't worry. On the object, let's say, okay, where is the flower? You ask this question to me, my answer is right there. Correct or not correct? Where is the flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Where's the color of flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Yes. Okay, I pointed to the same object for the reference of 2 labels. I pointed to the same object for the reference of the 2 labels. What 2 labels? The flower and the color of the flower. Okay, let us do this again. Where's the flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Yes. Where's the color of the flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Yes. Good. Now I'm not going to lift my finger. Where's the flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Yes. Where's the color of the flower? Is right there. Correct or not correct? Yes. Both are correct. When you go to see whether the flower and the color of the flower, when you go to the object, these 2 are the same thing. I pointed to the same object. This is known as entity-wise, the flower and the color of the flower, these 2 are the same, entity-wise. Entity-wise meaning, when you go to the object, when you go to analyze the oneness and the differentness on the object, that is the meaning of the oneness and differentness entity-wise. You getting it? Okay. If it is not too clear, still don't worry. We'll go to the next thing. And then it will become easier. You getting it? Very good. The next one is what? Isolates. Subject. Isolates. Okay. How many of you know what is a table? What is a table? Where is the table? It's right in front of you there. Okay. So let's think of the table. Right? Now, the subject. Subject meaning your own mind. Don't point to the table. Your own mind. How to do that? Okay, listen. Close the eyes and think of the table. Close the eyes and think of this table. Are you good? Now open your eyes. Now close your eyes and think of the top plank of the table. Think of the top plank of the table. Okay, so now open your eyes, don't please sleep. Open your eyes. Okay, now tell me, is there a difference? Is the difference between the table and the top of the table when you are thinking? Difference or no difference? Difference, just raise your hand, someone, to tell me what is the difference? Yes?
The first one is if you have a table with all the components, the four legs and all that. When you say think of the plank, it's just a piece of it.
Exactly. So, in your mind, in your subjective, on the subject, on the level of the subject, in your thinking, these two are different. One with the top line plus the legs. One without legs is just the top line. There's a difference in your thinking. So that is known as isolated-wise different. The table and the top plank of the table, these two are isolated-wise different. Okay, now let's see, let's not go to the subject, let's go to the object. Where's the table? It's here, correct or not correct? Yes. Where is the top line of the table? It's here, correct or not correct? I pointed to the same object for the table as well as for the top line of the table. So these two are entity-wise same, entity-wise one, but isolated-wise one different. Isolated-wise these two are different. You getting it? Very good. Okay. Now we will do some exercises. Okay. Can you give an example? Can you give an example of, say, entity-wise different? Just raise your hand. Can you give an example of entity-wise different? Or yes, different entity-wise.
Table and chair.
Table and chair. Very good. Okay. This table and a chair over there. So these two are entity-wise different. So okay, my next question. How is this table and the chair over there, how are these two entity-wise different? Because when you go to point to the object, we have to point to two different objects. This is meaning of entity-wise different. You getting it? Okay. Now can you give an example of two different isolates? Just raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Two different, say, two different isolates. Can you give an example of different isolates? Anyone? Anyone? Different isolates?
Should it be of the same entity? Should it be of the same entity or anything?
No. Anything which is of different isolates, that's good enough.
I'll say like chair and table again.
Chair and table again. Very good. So what makes you think that the chair and the table, or say this flower and the table, these two are isolated-wise different? What makes you think that? Because in your mind, in a subjective mind, these two appear as different. Very good, thank you. Okay, now do you like to go for more complicated exercises? Okay, now can you give an example of, say, something which is entity-wise same, isolated-wise different? Something which is entity-wise same, isolated-wise different. Can you give me an example of entity-wise same? The table and the top line of the same, for example, say TPC and the wall of TPC. Wall of TPC and TPC, are these two entity-wise one or different? Entity-wise same, isolated-wise one or different? Different. Very good. So likewise, can you give more examples? Entity-wise same, isolated-wise different. Can you give me examples?
Porcelain cup. A cup. Yeah. Then porcelain is made of porcelain.
Okay, the material,
Yes.
the porcelain material and porcelain cup. These two are entity-wise one or different? Whereas the porcelain material is here. Whereas the porcelain cup is here. Entity-wise same or different? Same. Isolated-wise same or different?
Different.
It's different. Very good. Because porcelain material may not necessarily tell you anything about the shape. Cup should have a shape, right? Very good. Now, can you give an example of, say, can you give an example of entity-wise one, isolated-wise one? So tomorrow we will do the same exercise. So this is the beginning. Tomorrow we will do the same exercise, and then you will see that At the moment, is it too clear, crystal clear? If not, don't worry. Tomorrow will become crystal clear. And you'll be fascinated. This is so easy. Right? At the moment you may not feel that, tomorrow you'll surely feel that. Okay, can you think of something which is entity-wise one, isolated-wise one? A diamond ring. A diamond and a ring? Or a diamond ring?
In my mind, I see a diamond ring, and I actually, the entity consists of a diamond ring.
Very good. Diamond ring. Let's say ring. Right? Say the ring. Gold ring. Or diamond, yeah, diamond ring. So diamond ring is entity-wise very good object. It's the same. In your thought also it's just the same. Okay. Now, do you like to do a little bit of exercise here? Very quick. Okay, sit properly. We'll do one quick exercise. Okay. I promise to make this meditation very simple. Okay. You meditate on say you meditate on flower. Think of a flower. Now on subject. On a subject. Subject, flower. Okay. Done? The next. Yeah, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Now close your eyes. Okay, next. Meditate on method. Meditate on method. What are you meditating? Huh?
We don't know.
Oh, method. So if you don't know, why are you meditating? Okay, you meditate on flower? Meditate on flower? Okay, now meditate on method. Why? Smiling? I was meditating on method. Meditate, good. Okay, you don't know what method is. Method means flower. Method means flower. Okay, now meditate on flower. Okay, now open your eyes. Now meditate on method. Now meditate on method. Okay, tell me. Method and flower, are these two entity-wise one or different? Entity-wise, same. Isolated-wise one or different? Same, exactly. Although there are two different labels, right? One which you know so well, and the other which you did not know before, right? Although the labels are different, but the reference is just the same. The reference. Mentally, there's no different things coming to your mind as mental or flower. It's the same thing. So therefore, although the labels are different, but isolated-wise, it's just the same. You getting it? Very good. Okay. With this mind, can you imagine? Can you give an example of isolated-wise one, entity-wise different? Okay, now we have just 5 minutes quickly. Anyone? Isolated-wise one, entity-wise different.
I say porcelain, which makes cup and ball.
A porcelain which makes a cup and ball. What are the two things? There are 3 things there.
So
Cup, ball, and the porcelain.
Porcelain would be material which made all of these.
Yes.
And then we have 2 entities, the ball.
Good. But don't trust my good. Right? Okay, anyone? We need an example of what? Isolated-wise one, entity-wise different. Can you give an example of the isolated-wise one, entity-wise different? Anyone? Emptiness of?
Of a flower and emptiness of a table. Emptiness, isolated is the same. Entity is
Emptiness of the flower and emptiness of the table. These two are isolated-wise the same, entity-wise different. Okay. Anyone else? Quick. Isolated-wise same, entity-wise different. Quick. In fact, the Buddha Shakyamuni, for your good news, bad news, I don't know. Buddha Shakyamuni, when he achieved enlightenment today, he did not find any example of that. Only in Singapore, two examples came up. Only in Singapore. Nowhere in the world, just Buddha Shakyamuni, he searched for this example everywhere, he did not find it, and then he became enlightened. So now here in Singapore, Singaporeans, they are proving him wrong, saying that they do examples, these examples here. There are no such examples. In other words, anything which is isolated-wise one should necessarily be entity-wise one. right? You will never find, nowhere you will find isolated wise one, entity wise different. Never you will find one. Buddha didn't find it, right? Okay. So this is the entity and the isolated. With this, going back to the Buddha nature, we see that okay. This again. I don't think you are tired. Are you tired? Okay, I don't think. And some others are at the top, they're not tired. Okay, I hope that the one upstairs, they're also not tired. So with this, one thing that I'd like to introduce here is what is known as composite phenomenon and non-composite phenomena. You want to do it all tomorrow? Composite phenomenon, non-composite phenomenon. Tomorrow, today?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm very happy that you're still very fresh. Okay, right? Okay. So composite and non-composite. This is another topic which has to be covered. So I'll cover that tomorrow. And today, I'll say the Buddha nature. How many kinds of Buddha nature are there? Two. What are there? Proliferating Buddha nature and natural Buddha nature. So like now look, say just we speak about the flower and the color of the flower. Are these two entity-wise one or different?
Same.
The flower and the color of the flower are entity-wise same, entity-wise one. Isolate-wise one or different? Different. Very good. Well, tell me, what makes you think that the flower and the color of the flower, these two are isolate-wise different? Anyone?
Just the labels.
That's good. The labels, that's a little complication. Metal and flower, don't forget it. Metal and flower, the labels are different, but the isolate-wise these two are one. You remember that? Right? So the flower and the color of the flower are these two isolate-wise one or different? Different. So what makes you think that these two are isolate-wise different? Because in your subjective mind, isolate meaning, in the subjective mind, these two appear as different. Flower means flower with color and shape. Color of the flower without the shape, just the color, right? So this is the how the two appears different to our mind. But entity-wise, the flower and the color of the flower are these two one or different? Entity-wise, one, different. And it's one, entity-wise, same. Very good. Likewise, this flower is analogous to the flower is analogous to the proliferating Buddha nature. Or let me put it simply like this. Say, how many of you have minds? All of us have minds. So your mind, in general sense, your mind, the defiled mind, is the proliferating Buddha nature. Your defiled mind, in general, don't go for the specifics. For the specifics, there's discussions to be followed. Your mind, defiled mind in general, your defiled mind in general, is the proliferating mind. Now, the defiled mind is the proliferating mind, and this defiled mind has the natural Buddha nature as its characteristics. Right? What did I say? This defiled mind that you have, which is the proliferating Buddha nature, has its characteristics. For example, this flower has many characteristics, like the colors, the shape, and so forth. Likewise, like this flower, the defiled mind that we have, this mind has so many characteristics, and there is one characteristic which is most important. That characteristic is the emptiness of this flower, emptiness of the mind, right? What's emptiness of the mind? Don't worry. So that you can say will be taught tomorrow, right? So the emptiness of mind is not yet explained. Just say, just as this flower has so many characteristics, our mind also has so many characteristics. One of the most important one is emptiness of the mind. Let's say this again. Just as this flower has so many characteristics, like what? The color, the shape, smell, and so forth. Okay, I don't know whether this is this artificial flower. Okay. Say just as this flower has so many characteristics, even our developed mind also has so many characteristics, right? Even our developed mind has so many characteristics, and like what? This developed mind is impermanent. Being impermanent is one characteristic. This developed mind is produced, one characteristic. This developed mind has the capacity to know things, right? Clarity, clear knowing. There are so many characteristics. One of the most important part of which is the emptiness of this mind, right? For the time being, don't worry. Just be able to say this, and then we will know about it more clearly over the next days. Emptiness of mind. So emptiness of the mind, emptiness of the developed mind is the natural Buddha nature. Emptiness of the developed mind is the natural Buddha nature. And the developed mind in general that we have, in general is the proliferating Buddha nature. And some of you might have questions, what does it mean by proliferating? Why is it not a proliferating Buddha nature? Why the other one is known as the natural Buddha nature? Why? This is a question. Proliferate means to multiply, to improve. Likewise, our developed mind will never remain as defiled forever. Our developed mind, through proper methods, through proper means, we can improve this developed mind, cleanse this developed mind, and make it more and more pure. And it will proliferate into the Buddha's mind. The developed mind that we have will, through proper means, the developed mind that we have will eventually proliferate into the Buddha's mind. You're getting it? So therefore, this mind that we have is going to become the Buddha's mind. So this is so precious, right? This is known as the proliferating Buddha nature. And what's the other one? Natural Buddha nature. What is the natural Buddha nature? Emptiness of this mind, right? Now, another thing that we need to keep in mind is that the characteristics and the characterized. The flower is the characterized, and the color, the shape, and so forth. These are the characteristics. So keep in mind that one secret that you need, whether this is one different, don't worry. But you can say 100% for sure with the characterized and the characteristics is that the relationship between the characteristics and the characterized is always entity-wise same, isolated-wise different. Keep this in mind, right? So the flower and the color of the flower, are these two entity-wise one different, isolated-wise different? What is your answer? Very simple. Entity-wise one, isolated-wise different. Why? Because these two are characterized and the characteristics. You getting it? Likewise, the proliferating Buddha nature. What is the relationship with the proliferating Buddha nature and the natural Buddha nature? Proliferating Buddha nature is the characterized, and the natural Buddha nature is the characteristic. So what is the relationship between these two then? Entity-wise, isolated-wise. What is the relationship? Entity-wise one, isolated-wise different. Why? Because these two are characteristic and characterized. You getting it? Okay. So this is, and then of course, say what makes us think that the emptiness of the mind. In what way the emptiness of the mind is known as the natural Buddha nature, right? Okay. So emptiness, from the point of view of the emptiness, emptiness of the mind, emptiness of the table, and these things, entity-wise there is no difference. Likewise, the Buddha statue made of diamond and the demon statue made of diamond, material-wise, there's no difference. Both are very precious, right? So therefore, from the point of view of the emptiness of your mind and devout mind, and the emptiness of Buddha's mind, from the point of that emptiness, there's no difference, right? So therefore, this emptiness of mind that we have is so naturally there as the Buddha's seed. When our mind becomes cleansed, the emptiness of our mind becomes the Dharmakaya, Buddha's Dharmakaya, the Buddha's, the true body. The emptiness of our mind will become the Buddha's true body. True body, okay, this again we will we'll have to explain later on. For time, what we say is that it becomes the main body of the Buddha. Main body of the Buddha, Dharmakaya, right? So, our say, the proliferating Buddha nature, which is the defiled mind, that when you become Buddha, this proliferating Buddha will become, the proliferating Buddha nature will become the Buddha's wisdom body. Buddha's wisdom body. And the natural Buddha nature, when you become Buddha, this natural Buddha nature will become what? Dharmakaya of the, when you become Buddha, it becomes Dharmakaya. Don't forget it. Let me say this, let us all say this again, then we'll stop here. Okay, so when this proliferating Buddha nature, when you become Buddha, proliferating Buddha nature should also become Buddha. So in what form of Buddha it will become? This proliferating Buddha nature. It will become the wisdom body of the Buddha. Okay, the natural Buddha nature that is within you now, when you become Buddha, this natural Buddha nature will become what body of the Buddha? Dharmakaya of the Buddha, don't forget it. Okay, so this is so auspicious. In fact, the Buddha said, Buddha said that even to identify, even to hear about the true nature of the enlightenment within you, it requires so much of merit and so much of accumulated wisdom and merit. So without which, even to hear about this is not possible, right? Okay, so whatever foundation that we have laid today, going back, you try to review them, and then you prepare yourself for the next class. Okay, thank you. We'll stop here for today. And now we turn to the quick end dedication prayer. Okay. In fact, if His Holiness Dalai Lama comes to know what is happening today, right, he will be extremely, extremely happy. This is what he has been encouraging the various centers to do, that people really know what Dharma is, rather than simply going to receive empowerment, 10 years, 20 years, after 20 years, right? I'm into Buddhism. What did you receive? The same, I think 25 empowerments or 50 empowerments. And what change happened? Only the count is left with me. Count. 20 empowerments count. What changed with me? You become more, maybe you become even more angry person. I have to know how many empowerments you received. Become arrogant, right? So, empowerments per se, there's nothing wrong. They are so precious. But without knowing, finally there must be the outcome. Outcomes should be seen in the form of you becoming a happier and happier and happier person. And then you become the ego, your happiness will be destroyed. Right? And then you become more and more angry person. Right? This will all destroy your happiness. So finally, the thing is that after coming to Buddhism, you should be a happier and happier and happier person. You should be more caring, loving, and compassionate person. You become more and more compassionate. You become more and more considerate of others. If that happens, this is a clear mark of you having embraced the Buddha's teachings. Otherwise, questionable. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 306. So this all happened while we were learning. As I said earlier, in the monastic universities, this all studied rigorously, and then these great monks, after learning all these, then seeing the true nature, then they fully dedicate themselves into the practice to make this Buddha nature become vibrant. And we are all going in this direction. And this all happens because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama inspiring the various centers. And they say, for example, TPC, and then we have, say, ABC, and there are many other centers. So inspiring these centers to work on, to impart the knowledge rather than simply making the people fall a blind faith. So impart knowledge and make the people know. Let them be self-sufficient, let them not be dependent all the time on the teacher. Let them be self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency will come to you only when they get the knowledge. In what way teachers are so special? Simply because they have knowledge. Why not everyone also can have the knowledge? They can also have the knowledge. So make them self-sufficient rather than dependent on you all the time, right? So this is the love and affection which is coming from His Holiness the Dalai Lama for all of us. Okay, so with this, let's pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that he lives long, that he's the Son who deserves, that he lives long for the benefit of all sentient beings, and that his wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. And may I personally make the dedication that each one of you, through your concerted effort of studying what we did, like what we did today, that each one of you be able to see the dawn of Bodhicitta, the incredibly precious Bodhicitta within you, that you, each one of you, be able to see the dawn of the incredible wisdom within you, so that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead as many dear mother sentient beings towards Buddhahood as possible. May the teaching on the wisdom of continuous flourishing in all 10 directions, may the teaching of the Bodhicitta flourish in all 10 directions in the minds of all dear mother sentient beings present and future. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 306. From my true connections, whilst the space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds dismiss blinded with ignorance. Even if I do not reach the state, may I be held in the loving compassion for all lives, and usually may I find the best of the completely greater part of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Who is the simple remain strong by the strong force of compassion, all beings with a point of the heart as I've discerned it. May I uphold Buddha's teaching for a very long time. With my heart full of with great compassion, in whatever directions the most precious teachings have not spread or once spread or declined, may I reveal this special happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace and the Buddha's teaching knowledge for a long time. By aiding this great power to enlighten and to terrorists completely, to the wonders, verses covered by the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing excellent paths never be separated in their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the temple and virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In the land encircled by snow mountain, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful generous events in Yatsu, please remain until samsara ends. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may quickly attain the state of the Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into their enlightened state. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen rise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. I dedicate the memories thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma and teaching realization. That all minds, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 rules of the Mahayana people, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly of the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha and the Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate my full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Chuloshan, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, and hold the precious Buddha and Dharma. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then I too remain to dispel the resistance world. A part of the union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of the Dharma and the beings of this movement. You are the Buddha's holy presence in Yatsu, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans for her and managed through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the path of the truth of the teachings. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by our judiciary and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of the dependent religion in particular, given at the personal life. Okay, so from tomorrow, the Heart Sutra and also there was the other class, the entry in New York. What time? 1 to 5. Okay, say 1 to 5. There is another, I don't know whether we can do after 1 to 5. Okay, 2 sessions. Okay, same. There's another two things happening. One is one is more easily accessible for everyone. In the evening, what time?
7:30 to 9.
We can soon. Tomorrow is no class. You will what time? 10:30 more. Okay. Tomorrow's fine. Tomorrow is said. What about the entry in the middle of tomorrow? Okay. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you know the schedule. Then say from Monday, there's another very on top of the evening classes. On top of the evening classes, we also have, we're going to introduce another topic, the text, which is so important, the entry into the middle way, written by the Acharya Chandrakirti. And this is going to really touch what exactly is emptiness, right? And since that is happening from what time?
1 to 5.
1 to 5. Because it is happening from 1 to 5, some of you may not be able to make it. Don't worry. We're going to have the recordings. We're going to have the recordings. And those of you who can make it, I would say that it is not just your fortune, it is also my karma, merit. We all have having this merit that we're going to visit this incredibly precious text, right? So those of you who do have time, see if you can make it. Those of you who want to make it and because of the work urgency, don't worry, we have the recordings, right? Okay, so this is it. So that's it. Thank you. Yeah.